Good morning, and hey now, PSW staff, clients, and friends joining us. Welcome to Monday's class. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Of course, Monday means Film Scoring Mondays, which is when we look at a scene and I take out the music and you come up with your own original score from YouTube or Spotify. You can just send it to me and email me. And I embed your score, and you become the film composer. So if you haven't done it yet, play along. It's a very fun, creative exercise for us, and it's also a good kind of film history course too. So we've been doing really good work together. So I'm proud of that. So we are gonna look at a very famous space movie about space and kind of man versus nature and all of these kind of things, in a very iconic 1983 American film, The Right Stuff.
On October 14th, 1947, Captain Charles Yeager shattered the sound barrier, propelled man into the future, and the search began for a new breed of men. Men who were fearless.
You've heard about our project.
Sounds dangerous.
It's very dangerous.
Count me in.
So it's an adaptation of Tom Wolfe book, and it kind of looks at the 15 years of the American space system, space program, and it focuses on the lives of all of these astronauts, and they're the Mercury 7, and they're kind of the first human space team that goes into space. And so it's a historical, dramatic film, directed by Philip Kaufman, and it's fun. We're going to be looking at a scene that's going to be, it's a very short scene, but I think it's going to be a cool little exercise. So let's go over there. We were in Brooklyn with Saturday Night Fever. Let's go down south. So this is where they, in real life, and in the movie, this is where the astronauts take off in Florida. So they consider this a box office failure because it grossed about 21 million, and the budget was 27 million. But it's critically acclaimed. It was nominated for 8 Oscars, and it won 4, including Best Score, which we'll take a look at in a little bit. So this movie comes out in 1983, and I like to look at what's going on in 83. 83 was a year for space and science fiction in a way. That's when we get the first female in space in 1983 with Sally Ride. So that's exciting. Mario Brothers. We finally get Mario Brothers video game. Nintendo releases it in Japan in July. And then the first mobile phone, the first cell phones in 1983, introduced by Motorola. And then we get the final episode of MASH, and MASH brings in 125 million views that night. And then Return of the Jedi, Star Wars, comes out in 83. So we also have kind of space technology. We're in this kind of Microsoft Word comes out in 83. It's kind of a big year. So they originally wanted John Barry to write this, and I think he was hired and he did write it. But the producers didn't like the direction that he was going to. So, and we've looked at John Barry. He did Out of Africa, a lot of other great. I know he's David Zimmerman's favorite composer, great composer in his own right. And but it shows you, even if you're great and well known, you can still get replaced. You can still get technically fired, and it doesn't mean you're not doing a great job. Many times, people just want to go with a different direction, and. So Philip Kaufman called up Bill Conti. Bill Conti is a composer that we looked at. If you remember his famous score, Gonna Fly Now, from Rocky, and we did the staircase scene from Rocky. So we're already familiar with this guy's music. Great composer, and he won Best Score for this movie. Why don't we take a look at the scene? Like I said, it's quite short. So this is the scene with the famous score by Bill Conti.
We've got to catch up to the star in rush. I'm going around and get somebody up there.
pretty epic, right? I mean, you've probably heard that before. You've probably seen a quick cut of that scene. Really cool. Great big sounding music. Perfect for that. But what's the scene? It's just guys walking. When you break it down, it was probably just a very not boring day on the set, but I mean, it's literally like, okay, let's get you guys ready. And then you're just going to be walking toward us, toward the camera. And hopefully whoever writes the music to this, that day of the shooting, will convey something good. Because if not, we're screwed. We just have kind of these kind of tough guys walking down. And it would, so when the composer sees it, he's going to see this. So let's take a look at the scene without the music. So I just put in some Foley sound walking and, the ambience of the hall. But, I mean, obviously that's not as exciting. Could it work? Maybe. It's just a scene of astronauts walking. There's no dialogue. They have expressions on their face, of course, and they're strutting, kind of like Saturday Night Fever, where he's walking down. This is another scene where you think about it's iconic, but what makes it is really kind of the music going on, right? I try to look at scenes for our purposes where there's not a lot of dialogue. It's also harder to take out music, obviously, and impossible actually to take off music when there's dialogue. But it shows you, like, obviously music makes a scene better, but it can sometimes save a movie, and just put you in a world where you believe what's going on, the action and the drama. So it can be whatever you want it to be. Let's see if we can make this interesting. So if you are watching this scene, think of it as the composer, Bill Conti, watching it for the first time and thinking, where do I start? This is super, it's free. There's a lot of freedom involved, but then it's also terrifying because you have a blank slate. So we're going to be Bill Conti this week. So come up with some ideas. Again, like we've talked about, I'm so proud of, we really upped our level of integrity in terms of picking it's not your favorite song. It's the right song. If it happens to be your favorite, that's good too. Or the right score, rather. It doesn't need to be a song. This is a song, but as we know, it doesn't mean it has to have words to it. It can, but think of what is the best choice for this. What's the most effective choice? So I'm excited. I know we're going to come up with some great stuff. Get it to me by Wednesday. We'll see the results on Friday, and it's going to be a great week. So have a great rest of the day, and I will see you tomorrow.